Next, I'd like to introduce to all of you a gentleman that has come very near and dear to all of our hearts as surviving parents. As you may well know, our motto is not one more child. We can talk about the tragedies and the memories and the sorrow, but we have to be proactive. We need to give real solutions to real life situations. And we believe that our educational initiative, Not One More Child, is that key. And I'm very proud to introduce to you Executive Director Stephen Daley of the RAD Kids.
Thanks, Linda. My role here is to talk a little bit about, my role is to talk about what we can do for children. And for my brothers in law enforcement, I was on the job for 21 years before I left to educate and work with kids and join the Surviving Parents Coalition's Not One More Child. The RAD Kids program is a very different model of education. It's a program that gives kids some power to deal with the world that they live in. And I'm not going to take a lot of time because I have a feeling that my friends will talk a little bit more about it. But I want to share a little bit as a non-surviving parent why I'm here and why I appreciate everyone that is here. When I was a police officer years ago, for the officers that are here, it was my job to try to help people who get in trouble. And one night I got a call in Florida to go to a house where there's a 6-year-old child who'd been hurt. And that's all the call that I got. The child's been hurt, the mother's upset, please respond to the house. So I responded to the house, and my partner took the mother, and I went to look for the little girl. And as I turned and looked down the hallway, I saw a 6-year-old girl in the hallway who was holding a teddy bear with one hand and just looking at me. And I was trained to be sensitive, and so I lowered my voice a little bit and came down the hall. And as I was walking down the hall, I noticed on the front of this little girl's shirt that there was a liquid, but I couldn't tell what it was. As I got a little closer, I could see that it was blood and that she was hurt. I got on my knee and I looked at the little girl and I said, "Are you okay?" The little girl looked at me, 6 years old, in my eye, and looked me right in the eye and said, "Where were you?" My response was, "On patrol." And then I said, "What can I do? Let me see if I can help you." She didn't even blink. She just looked at me again and said, "You're supposed to protect me, and mommy's boyfriend hurt me." I did 21 years in law enforcement, and I'll never forget that little girl. And today I want to talk to you about how to stop that from happening. It was our job back then, and we had on our side of our cruisers, protect and serve. It is time to teach our children what we want them to know instead of hoping they'll do what we hope they'll do. And we can do that in a non-frightening way. Our children can be taught and empowered to believe in themselves and to learn 3 basic principles in their life. No one has the right to hurt you because you're special and valuable. Self-value and self-worth. It's very important for our kids. They got to believe they are our future. The second thing we teach the RAD kids is that they don't have the right to hurt anyone else, including themselves, unless someone is trying to hurt them, and then they have every right to stop them. Not fight, not hurt, not finish. Stop someone from hurting them. And in the RAD Kids program, unlike any other educational model in the country, we actually teach them how to physically do that. We teach them how to stop them from 3.5 years old up to 13 years old, how to stop someone even my size. We've been very fortunate to have 69 children escape abduction. Thousands of children escape sexual abuse. The third thing that we've actually been able, and I think the most important thing that we teach the children is, it's not your fault when someone hurts you. It's time that our children know it's not their fault, and that it's the fault of the person that's hurting them so that they can tell someone. We've been very fortunate to help lots of children that way. But we have to look at things a little differently. Our children are the one, we're not with our kids 24 hours a day. Matter of fact, a young boy in Illinois a few years ago actually taught us in the RAD Kids program. And RAD Kid's a cool kid that doesn't let anybody hurt them, but taught us that we could do something different. As he said to his instructor in the class, right here in the state, "You know, this stuff is important. I am with myself 24 hours a day." Our children can make a difference. It's not their responsibility, it's ours. But we have to teach them. How many here taught their children, don't talk to strangers? How many then follow that up with, be polite? please, it's our children's opportunity to understand it's not their job to help a grown-up. And there are some people that are trying to hurt them. Not scare them, but prepare them to live in our world. Many of my friends in the Surviving Parents Coalition, children were taken by predators. We have to stop that. We can do that through education. And I'm proud with the Not One More Child Educational Initiative. The RAD Kids program is for the children, and the Joyful Child's Pride Ambassador program, or the Ambassador program for education for parents on what we can do, makes this a unified approach from moms, dads, law enforcement, and everybody to teach our children. But I'm not going to talk much more about that except to say this, that 6-year-old little girl that I told you about, 2 years into RAD Kids, I met a 9-year-old girl in Utah. I was teaching a class of instructors up in Ed's neighborhood, pretty close to him, another town up, and one of the instructors said, we just had a save in Utah. A 9-year-old girl escaped a predator. We went up to meet that girl. She was a RAD Kid graduate. She had gone through the program. I went up there very tentatively to meet this girl because I expected to see the 6-year-old girl who was waiting for us to help her. But instead, I met a little girl by the name of Candy, and you can see her story on our website. But a little girl by the name of Candy, and she answered the door, and after brief pleasantries, looked at me, and I said, Candy, are you okay? And she looked at me and said, yeah, he should have picked somebody else, don't you think? The time has come to give our children the power, and my friends next to me are riding across the country with people joining them along the way to let people know what we can do. And I want to let you know that we can make a difference together, because all of us together, not one more child needs to be hurt. Not one more child here, not one more child anywhere. And we can make a difference. It's time to empower our children and stop pretending that we can do it all themselves. Help our children and make that change. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Linda and let you know that we can make a difference, and that's what we're here for in Chicago.